here in Cairo, Egypt. I live 40 minutes away from the pyramids, if anyone is curious. And fun fact, I've never been to the pyramids, actually. I just never felt the urge to buy a ticket and go see them up close just because they're not like going anywhere. I'm an art director working with an e-commerce brand in the United States. And that means that I have to work with AI a lot because I'm promoting physical products that I don't have access to. So these are just some of the brands I've worked with over the years. But this is just like boring resume stuff. I don't want to spend much time on it. What I want to spend much time on is the journey in my career and what basically led me here, because this is more interesting. And it all started with uh, at the beginning, I wanted to become an animator. This is how it started. I was in love with movies generally and storytelling. And I thought animation is like a fun, cool, creative way to tell stories. And I decided to become an animator. And just after a tiny bit of research, I found out that I'm not going to be working at like Disney or Pixar anytime soon. So that led me to the next stage, which is motion graphics. Motion graphics, for those who don't know, is basically the mix of animation and graphic design. And that meant that I have to master graphic design as much as I have mastered animation in order to work in this field. It's basically animation, but for advertising and marketing. And at this point, I started to love marketing and just the mentality of researching your audience and speaking to them in a way that convinces them to take some sort of action and kind of have loyalty to your brand. And by that time, TikTok started becoming a thing, and live videos started to become the trend instead of motion graphics. So I just picked up a camera and started shooting. I started editing videos. I started learning more about cinematography and filmmaking and just the art of shooting and editing. And then at this point, what I would do is I would shoot my footage and then color it and edit it and then add some motion graphics on top. So like just basically moving text and logos and animations and stuff. And then I would create like really unique, good looking ads. And that's when AI came out. Now, AI basically changed the game because now I wasn't limited by any constraints like budget or location or just imagination or anything. You know, I can just picture a scene in my head and I can make it come to reality just by using AI. And it was much easier and faster than having to go rent out a camera and gear and equipment and having to like find a location and contact models that will be in the ad and have to go shoot them and have to edit the footage afterwards and have to go through all the color grading process. And all of that was expensive and time consuming. And eventually it got many ideas turned down just because we didn't have like enough budget for it or it wasn't just feasible to actually make in real life. Now, AI made everything easier, and that's why I want to teach everyone how to basically do the same things that I do to make their stories come to life. Now, since I'm obviously in love with stories, I want to I want to start this session by telling you guys a little story. And I want you all to imagine it with me and picture it in your head as I'm telling it. Okay, imagine you have a friend, and this friend, he's like, he's creative, he's a pioneer, he's an entrepreneur, he likes to discover things. And one time he tells you that he discovered this factory. It's a magnificent space with all these machines, and they make toys. Specifically, they make animal toys. And he's telling you about this factory, and he's telling you that he decided to just basically make toy animals and sell them for a living. And you're like, you get curious and you're like, okay, explain more. And then he tells you that he, for example, found this machine that lets you imagine things. And the things that you imagine, they come to life. And he tells you that he created this toy dog with this machine. And then you're like, okay, that's fun. Like, how did you create this toy dog? And he tells you the machine operates like this. You just have to put in some building blocks, and these building blocks, they describe the toy that you want coming out from the other end, and the machine just processes the building blocks and it gives you the toy animal out the other way. And you're like, okay, that's fun, but I mean, who would buy this? Because it's just a dog sitting there. I mean, no one would want to actually buy this. And he tells you that he found out about this other machine. And what it does is it lets you move things. So what you have to do is you have to input your toy dog from one side, and then obviously input some building blocks that describe the movement that you want the dog to be making. And you can teach him all these tricks. He can roll around or like circle around his tail or like shake hands, whatever you want him to do. You can describe the movement in this building blocks. And what happens is the machine animates the dog. It makes it move. It makes it have all these cool tricks. And he tells you that he's gonna connect the first machine to the second machine, and this way he's gonna input some building blocks here, some building blocks there, and then the dog will come out from one machine as a static toy, and then enter the other machine and come out as a moving toy. Okay. And at this point, you're like, okay, this is better, but like one animal moving, like just one toy. I mean, kids will play with this for like 2 minutes and then get bored. So it's not really working still. And he tells you, okay, that's fine. I'm gonna get 5 machines of each, and I'm gonna have a set of animals that are moving and doing tricks, and then I'm gonna pack them in a box and sell them to the customer. And you're like, okay, but isn't that like such a waste of time? Because you mentioned all these building blocks and you have to fill in the machines and you have to give the machines like this input so they can so you can describe the toys that come out the other end, and this input so you can describe the movement of the toys, and it's just like it's gonna take forever to create these 5 animals. And he tells you, okay, I'm gonna hire 2 assistants and they will be responsible for entering the building blocks. So basically I'm gonna come at the beginning of the day, describe to the assistants what I really want happening and what animals I want the other side and how I want them to look. And the assistants will be responsible of inputting the building blocks in one machine, and then 5 toys will come out static, and then another assistant inputs the building blocks in the other machine, and the 5 toys come out the other way moving. And then I'm gonna come at the end of the day, pack the animals, and start selling them. At this point, you're really intrigued because that makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's now is a good toy, but it's still missing something. It needs some atmosphere. I mean, kids are gonna put this on the ground and start playing with it, but it has no like ambient. It has nothing telling us why are these toys moving and why are they moving like this and what they're actually doing. And it doesn't. It's still missing something. And he tells you not to worry because he found out about this third and last machine, which is a machine that narrates stories. And by this time, you just guessed it, you have to input some building blocks from one side that describe the story that you want told. And then from the other side, this machine creates a self narrating stage. This stage, it tells the story about your moving animals and why they're doing this. And because kids love stories, this is just much more interesting for them to play with. And then he tells you that finally he's gonna pack the machine, I'm sorry, pack the stage with the animals and sell it as a whole playset. Now, this is a successful business model because it allows your friend to put minimal input because he has all these assistants helping him and he has all these machines connected together. So he's not really doing much. He just puts some minimal input and he gets maximum output the other way. He gets a very rich, filled with animals, self-narrating stage game that kids can play with. And this is basically what AI is doing for us. It allows you to create, like, this is just the basic concept foundation of how we can use AI to tell stories, and we can do that with minimal input and maximum output. Just to give you an idea of how that works with AI and how is that applied in actual life, I'm gonna head over to my browser right here, and I'm gonna search for a tool called Magnific. And this tool is just a platform that has all AI tools. And I don't want you to focus so much on the technicalities right now. I'm just explaining the concept. So let's focus on the workflow and the concept. And we're going to get more advanced down the line. So I'm going to head to Magnific and I'm going to find this tab called Spaces. And I'm going to have my first space, which is just basically a blank canvas. And in this space, I'm going to add what's basically a machine, this image generator. And this image generator is like the imagine machine that lets you imagine things and you get them out the other way live. However, as we've learned, for this machine to work, we have to input some building blocks from the left side. So I'm going to have these building blocks built in a text node, and I'm gonna have these building blocks be my animal, and I want this to be a dog. I'm gonna have them be, I'm gonna input a breed, and it's gonna be beagle, and size, I want it to be small, and then pose, I want it to be sitting, front view. I'm gonna input material, I want it to be plastic, and details, I want this to be minimal, and I'm gonna input the last building block, which is what's required, and I'm gonna say create a toy with these descriptions on a white background. And then what I have to do is I have to connect the building blocks to the machine and then press run. We're gonna wait for a minute here, and then what's coming out the other side is gonna be our toy dog.
It's looking already awesome. Can't wait to see the result.
Yeah, it's gonna get interesting from here, and it's gonna get complicated real fast. So you have to stay concentrated. Okay, so let's consider that this is our toy dog, the one that our friend created. Now this is the boring one, and we want it to move, so it's less boring. So what we have to do is input this other machine that moves things, and we have to give it some building blocks. So I'm gonna say the building blocks are basically the movement of the toy, and I want this to be basically to jump and play. And that's just anything I'm writing to get the example through. And then I'm gonna input another building block, which is what's required. And I'm gonna say a plastic animated toy on a white background. And I'm gonna connect the building blocks to the machine. But then if you remember, I have to input the toy inside this machine so it can move it. So I'm gonna connect this as well inside the other machine. Sorry about that. And I'm just gonna press go. And we're gonna wait another minute. So this machine moves this dog. And right now, if I'm pressing too much buttons, if you're getting like confused about what I'm doing, and where I'm getting all these machines from. Don't be that confused. Don't worry about the technicalities. We're gonna get there. I mean, I'm gonna leave some resources for you to understand the tool and how you manage it, but that's not our main point right now. So while this is loading now, let's try to create another animal because we already know what's coming out from it. Okay, it's finished. So let's check in the video.
Yeah, the dog just came to life, man. So
Yeah, that's what's happened. Can you
yeah.
hear the audio? Like when I played the video,
Yes.
did you hear any audio?
Uh, Regarding the audio from the dog, or
Yeah, no, from the dog, not from me.
um,
You
not
didn't,
sure.
right? Yeah, it's not
I can
sharing.
hear
Yeah.
you though.
Okay, when I, later on, I'm gonna disconnect this headset and share some audio when it's more
Okay.
important. But for now, let's just continue as we are. Now, this is just one animal, and what we want to do is duplicate this flow 5 times, basically, and have 5 animals created. So I can just take this all, duplicate it with a simple shortcut, and I'm gonna have a new flow where I can change some things. So instead of the dog, I'm gonna say I want a duck, and the breed. I mean, ducks, I don't really know about the breeds of ducks, so I'm gonna remove this building block. I want the size to be small. I want the post to be sitting and front view, material, and details are the same. And I'm just gonna generate this duck. And while this is generating, I'm gonna prepare the building blocks for the movement of the duck. And I'm just gonna change this one, which is movement, and I'm gonna say I want it to dance. And we're just gonna wait for our duck to get generated here, and then we're gonna, that's our duck, all right.
A cool duck.
And then, yeah, this duck is already connected to the other moving machine. So this machine is gonna take this duck and these building blocks and apply it in a video right here. So I'm gonna press generate. And while this is generating, we're gonna we're gonna create the flow that is easier and faster with the help of some assistants. Okay, it's just 20 seconds away, so let's wait for it. I'm gonna have a sip of
Sure.
my coffee while it generates.
Yeah, what I like about this is how fast you are doing the inputs, and how quickly you're getting the product, because each image
Yeah,
is a product and you could just continue building using the blocks. And I think the intro that you made it was very interesting and great, because everybody can know how to get to this point very fast.
yeah, I hope so. And then it gets like more advanced from here. So you're gonna see how we can create this whole ad or design or branding or UI UX flow using the
Hmm.
same concepts, basically. Okay, and this is our doc. Okay, it's doing backflips and everything.
Yeah, that's one duck, honestly.
Yeah. Okay, so now what we can do is we can duplicate these two workflows and just have 5 animals and then keep changing the building blocks until we have enough animals that we're satisfied with. But what we want to do to mimic our friend's story is we want to hire 2 assistants. Now I'm gonna start with the first assistant right here, and I'm gonna tell it to give me 5 farm animal names, just the names, nothing else. And I'm gonna make sure that the assistant gives me a list of 5 animal names right the other way. Okay, it gave me the 5 names. Now I want another assistant to take those names And basically, actually, you know what? To not make this confusing, I'm gonna just have one assistant and I'm gonna tell him to, instead of giving me animal names and that's it, I'm gonna tell him to create 5 prompts to generate animal forms. So instead of giving me the names of the animals, he's gonna give me the prompts directly. And I want these animal, I'm sorry, farm animals to be toys on a white background. And I want the assistant to follow this structure as building blocks because this building blocks concept is very important. And I'm gonna copy this structure. I'm gonna copy it all and I'm gonna paste it right here. So now the assistant, I told him what to do. He's gonna create 5 prompts using this structure and he's gonna create them as a list of 5 prompts. And what I'm gonna do with the 5 prompts is I want to connect them to a machine that creates the images. So I'm gonna prepare my machine. The list has come out. If we open one of the prompts to make sure that the assistant has followed our instruction, you're gonna find that he used the structure, he made a cow, he made the size medium, he made the details minimal, etc., etc. He just basically followed our same structure and he did it 5 times. So now what we can do is we can take this as a list and connect it to the machine and then press generate. And what's coming from the other side is a list of 5 images with these 5 animal descriptions. And that's basically exactly like duplicating this flow 5 times and creating 5 images manually, except we hired an assistant to do this for us. I'm just organizing things a bit here.
Yeah,
And
instead
now
of
we're
the
looking,
manual work of going like creating one by one, you're just having the system do that because you already set the precedent up above, so they can just like yeah, that's very good thinking. And I like how I like how you manage to get your workflow done so you can get these things done quite fast because time is always
exactly.
like a critical factor.
Yeah, what happens is you take your time creating the workflow, and then the workflow is just there to replicate over and over and over again. So you can just create like basically uh, one ad for like one product or something, and then
Okay.
duplicate that and create like 100 ads for 100 products using the same workflow.
Yeah, that's awesome. That sounds really great, man. Like so much quantity.
Exactly. Okay, now these toys are there as static images for now, and what we want is to move them. So we already know that we need another assistant to help us create the prompts for the following machine, which is like basically the building blocks for the following machine. So I'm gonna create an assistant and tell him to, I'm gonna tell him you'll get 5 images of 5 farm animal plastic toys. I want you to give me 5 prompts to animate these animals so they make moves following the structure as building blocks. And I'm gonna copy our, okay, so I lost everything. I'm gonna copy the building blocks from one of our already moved animals. I'm gonna paste it for the assistant as a reference for the building blocks that we usually create. And then I'm gonna take this as a reference and connect it to our assistant because I promised the assistant that he's getting 5 images of 5 farm animals. So he has to understand what farm animals he's working with. I'm gonna make sure that he exports a list of prompts. I'm gonna press run. And I already know what's coming out this other way is a list of 5 prompts that I'm connecting to a new machine. So let me use this time and create the machine. Okay, here is our list of prompts. We can open one and make sure that the prompt is following our structure. It's actually not. Okay, I mean, it's close enough, so I'm gonna use it and we can see what comes out the other end. What's good about AI is it's unexpected, so we're gonna find out right now. So I'm gonna connect my list to the other machine. I can like edit this and give extra instructions to the assistant so he gives me more accurate prompts. But I'm gonna leave it like this just as an example of when AI messes up, how we can deal with
Yeah.
it and how like how bad he messed up. So I
Yeah,
already
that's sorry to interrupt. That's why the validation of what AI does is very important. Like we just have to
yeah
make sure that everything we input and that it checks out is very verified because it can always hallucinate and do stuff we don't want them to do.
yeah exactly. You have to always read. I mean AI. Some people use it just to. That's what creates AI slop basically is that people
Yeah.
don't revise what it's outputting. So you always have to make sure that it's going on the right track.
Yeah. When
And
we began the stream, I had a question I wanted to ask you, like, but I figured I could do it midstream or something. Like, how do people like get away from the AI slump? And I realized like you just have to make sure that the input is very precise and that you make sure you check what you put in because otherwise it's gonna go like a lot of different ways. So yeah, thank you for that. That's very informative.
yeah, exactly. I'm gonna come to this in a minute. Let me just connect my animals right here. So these are the 5 animals coming out, and I want to connect them to this machine. And I'm gonna press play. And while this is generating, let me add to your point, which is AI is basically gold in, gold out, rubbish in, rubbish out. If you didn't take the time um, putting details into your prompt and making sure that it's a good prompt, what's gonna come out the other end is not gonna be something that you like. And that's why the concept of the building blocks is very important because it basically gives you a structure of details that you have to input. And if you make sure to describe each of those input, then the AI machine has something to work with and they know all the details of the output that you need. Now our videos has come out the other way. Let's watch them.
Nice. That's looking great.
Yep, that's it. And now we're at the stage where we have the toys and they're moving and they're fun. However, the story is missing something. It's missing uh, some narration that
Mhm.
tells us why these animals are doing what they're doing, which is basically the third machine that our friend has discovered. I'm gonna search for it. It's called voiceover. And this voiceover needs some building blocks telling it what to do. But the building blocks here are a bit different because we're gonna choose the voice and that's gonna act as our building blocks. And over here, these are some of the things that we need to choose. So I'm gonna make sure that the language is English. I want a female telling the story just because it's more friendly for the kids. I want her to have an American accent. And I'm just gonna hear all of these and find out which one works for me. Okay, right now, Arnold, I'm gonna disconnect my headset so all of you
Okay.
can hear exactly what I'm hearing. If we're having any issues or if I'm not audible anymore, just let me know, okay?
Okay, we'll let you know. Thank you for the info, man.
Yeah.
I will just shift quickly here until Ayad gets ready with the audio. Then we'll go back to when the audio is ready.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, awesome.
Sorry,
I can hear you, man.
okay. Give me a second to adjust this.
Take your time. Take your time. Yeah. So, guys, so far what we've seen from Ayad, I think it's a very great introduction to, how using AI can just lead you to so many creative things, and in a matter of how much it's been like half an hour, and we already created like an ad that can be worked with. We created animals, we created the movements, and then it's actually incredible, how with good input you can always just make sure to even if it's not for a client, you can make a personal project, or you can create things that are just that can be very useful. Just use your imagination, right? Then I think you'll be good to go. So let me know if the audio is ready, so we can just go ahead. If the audio is not audible, then it's okay. We're just gonna make sure that the viewers know that the audio, the videos will play an audio what they pick, but we can take more time to showcase the audio part uh, since it's necessary. And yeah, I think this is one of the first times that we are actually doing a live session where we are doing the steps where people can, see things done right away at the moment. So for everybody who's not available to watch the video right now or be a part of the stream, you can watch later on the channel, and just also check Ayad out. Like, he seems to have a lot of great resources. So anybody who's interested in this kind of things, whether you are on like animator or motion graphic designer or like UX UI designer, I think you will find a lot of interesting things regarding this specific video today and the session, because for me, I'm gonna try to make some of the creatives videos that I can showcase to my clients. Not that I want to make ads, but I want to maybe put them in a hero section when I make a landing page. So yeah, this is a very, very good session for me as well. So
Okay, so I'm back. I'm sorry about this technical thing.
it's okay, man.
I wasn't able to get it to work, unfortunately, so you're not gonna hear the amazing voice that I'm gonna be able to generate. But I mean, you have to trust me on this one. Just plugging in my laptop here. You have to trust me on this one because I'm hearing some voices, and they're not just in my head.
Yeah,
And when you hit the presentation, let me share my screen again.
sure. I'm waiting for you to go back on the screen. So,
Oh, okay.
or just go to
Uh,
tab. Yeah, awesome.
yeah. So when you get this presentation, you're gonna have access to all the projects that we're creating today. So you're gonna have the ability to go on Magnific website and make sure that the audio was actually playing. But just for demonstration right now, let me go back to our Magnific tab here, and I'm gonna try to describe it for you. These are people, and if I press here, I can hear a test of their voice and what it sounds like, and I can just pick any voice I want, and I have to write in the story that I want. So something like once upon a time there was a farm, etc., etc., and I can connect this building block to the machine right here, and I can press generate, and what comes the other side is just voiceover audio that we can use to tell our story. And this is it. I can I can hear it right now, but you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way
Yeah,
that I
yeah,
can
yeah.
send it on chat or something? I don't
Sure,
think
we can
so, right?
share it with our viewers later in the portal. We can just give them a glimpse of how the narration sounds like. So if that's fine with you, sure, we can do that.
Okay. Maybe after the presentation they can just check it out.
Yeah, yeah, because I'm
Okay.
pretty sure a lot of people will be jumping to see what they can create, or like do they want to like try some of these things out, because this is a very very good session.
Yeah. Okay. So that's basically our example for the toy factory. And right now you can see our workflow. It slowly got bigger and bigger and bigger. So like as you can see, it's not as complicated as you would think if I just shared my screen and suddenly you found all these nodes. We call these nodes. So this is a node, this is a node, this is a node. People in the UI UX scene might be familiar with the nodes concept because it
Yeah,
existed in Figma a long time ago. So it's just what I'm trying to say is it's not as complicated as you might think. Now, let's put this aside for now. Now that we understand the concept and we've built the space that our friend was talking about inside Magnific, and we now have a better imagination of what we can do with these tools. Now, we're gonna get more advanced in our examples, but first we have to discuss some technicalities. So first, as you can see, who is this for? This is for anyone basically who wants to create visuals using AI, and that's a lot of people. You can even do it for some personal things. If you want like to hang a poster on the wall behind you or something, you can create the design inside of AI. That's you can do whatever you want for it, but professionally speaking, marketers can use it to create ads for their products or UGC content if they can't, if they don't have like the budget to contact some UGC creator to create a professional video for them. It can be for designers, whether it's UI UX designers creating specifically the UI of an app or a website or a product, but also for graphic designers who might be creating static ads for like Meta or whatever, or like posters or banners for a website and everything. Content creators who don't wanna be in front of the camera. So if you're shy but you want to create content and you just want some B-rolls playing on the screen or some avatar that you create to speak for you. You can do that with AI. Entrepreneurs creating like branding assets and logos and everything they need for their brand. And obviously, video editors and animators and filmmakers and people who want to make short films even for fun and anyone who wants to create art basically. But first, we have to understand how AI works, and this is a very important part of the presentation. You have to get this digested really well. So if you're sitting there talking with your computer, basically talking to Gemini, and you're asking Gemini to create like an image for you, maybe you upload your personal image and you ask it to create like a make it in a different style, make it in anime style or something. What's happening is Gemini is taking your request and it's passing it through a supercomputer. So this supercomputer is owned by Gemini, and this supercomputer is what processes your request. And then the image that comes out the other way, Gemini just calls it Nano Banana. I think most of us are aware what Gemini is, right? It's basically Google's LLM, and Nano Banana is basically Google's image generator. So if you asked Gemini to create a video for you, it goes through the supercomputer and it comes out the other way, and they call it View 3. So again, you're talking to Gemini, but what really processes the info that you're saying is their supercomputer, and this is what generates images or videos, and they just happen to call them certain names just for branding. And what's really important to understand here is that Gemini is just a platform. It's just basically a website that you enter in order to tell it the info that you want done. And what really processes this info is the supercomputer, not Gemini. What that means is you can access this supercomputer through other platforms like Magnific, the one we were just in, and like Higgsfield, another just another random platform. And there are tens of platforms where you can access Gemini's supercomputer. That means if I enter Magnific and I ask it for an image, it gives me an image through NanoBanana. And if I enter Gemini and I ask it for an image, it gives me an image through NanoBanana. It's basically the same exact thing. This is Gemini. If I describe an image right here and say just like taxi in New York or something, and I copy this same prompt. I press enter here, and I copy this same prompt, and I go to Magnific, which we were in, and I create an image generator. And inside the settings here, I pick Nano Banana as the model that I want processing my image, and I give it the same prompt, taxi in New York. What happens is both these requests and both these images are now sent to the supercomputer, and what's coming out through the other end is an image that they call through a model which is NanoBanana. These are basically the same exact model. You can even see the resemblance in the style and the way they wrote taxi over here. It's the same over here. These are just processed through the same place. What that means is there are models that process your request, whether it's an image, a video, audio, or even other stuff. And there are platforms that give you access to these models. That means you can access NanoBanana or GPT image generator or Kling video generator or any other model. I mean, there are hundreds of models. These are not, I'm just putting these as an example, but you can access any of these models through either one of those platforms. Of course, you can still access them individually. So you can go to Gemini, like we did here, and just get an image and then download it to your computer and then find another like video generator model, let's say Grok. So you search for Grok and you enter Grok and you start, animating your image and everything. You can do that, but what I'm trying to say is you can just subscribe to one of these tools and it gives you access on all the AI models that you need. So, an important note, don't worry too much about the tool. What you want to worry about is the model, because these models, they get updated constantly. I just put here what I think is like basically what's up to date, the best models right now for images, videos, and audio. But just tomorrow, this can change. By the time you end your internship, this is probably gonna have changed, and you just have to keep up to date with what models are working better right now. For example, Cdance 2, I put it here. I created this presentation like a few days ago, and just like 2 days ago, Cdance 2.5 came out, and it's much better. So you just have to follow up with this and then use whatever tool you prefer to make your image come through or video or whatever. And these are just some settings that you have to adjust while generating images. I'm not going to go through them in detail because you're going to have access to this tech. You can just read these images. Most of them are just basic. So the model you choose, we spoke about this already, and can I have this in full screen? And you can input references like image references and the aspect ratio and what are they used for, the quality you want. It's just basic stuff. I think most people already familiar with it. You can check it out. Same for videos. You can use a start image like the dog toy that we created, and you set the duration, sound, etc. Now, what's really important that you come out of this session with is this concept of building blocks. And you have to understand that for each task, you're gonna have different building blocks. So for example, let's take voiceover like the one we created. You have to select the language, the accent, gender, and everything else as your building blocks. But when creating an image, you're gonna have to select different things because you're treating this now as if you're holding a camera and you're adjusting everything. You're saying what the scene looks like. The subject is basically like your model or actor or product or whatever you're trying to shoot with your camera, what location they're in, what are the props around it, everything. If you're trying to generate a design, then you're gonna have a different set of building blocks that you have to fill out. So you can get as detailed inside the building blocks as you want. So you can make your brief incredibly detailed, and this is basically what makes good prompts. Or you can make it simple, and you're still gonna have like something kind of okay coming out the other way. But the more detailed you are, the better the result. Now, if someone out there is curious on how to fill these building blocks and they're thinking, okay, I'm not a professional designer, I'm not a professional videographer, I don't really know what like camera movements to include. I don't like I can describe this. I don't have the terminology to describe it. This is what we're gonna talk about in our next session. So our next session is gonna be on the basics of creative direction and how to decide each one of those elements. And this session is just mainly about understanding the concept and realizing that you have to understand these elements in order to get something good the other way. And for anyone extremely curious that can't even wait for the next session, we're going to have some breakdown of each of those blocks just with a simple description in the following slides. But these, we're not going to go through them today. You can check them out on your own time. Now, what we're gonna create today is really interesting. We're gonna design a UI UX flow, that's example one, and example two is we're gonna create a commercial for Rolex. Back to example one, this is what we're gonna end up with. Just a few screens. It's basically more oriented about UI and not UX, but these
Mm-hmm.
are just screens for an app that literally took me less than 5 minutes to create, and we're gonna replicate them together. Now, it just goes through the flow with the tabs down there. This is the search tab. This is your wish list. This is your bag. This is the profile. And notice how it's using the same name, Maya, and it's using the same font and the same design system and the same art direction, the same branding, the same everything throughout all these screens. And again, it literally took me 5 minutes. And I think it's just incredible result.
Yeah, it is. It is already. I mean, if I mean, you can just go with that and make it as like a proposal or ask a client, hey guys, do you like this direction? And you can get a lot of good feedback just from a 5 minute prompting. So I think it saves a
Exactly.
lot of time. Like instead of you going looking for inspiration and stuff, it's just gonna lead you right away to what the client and what you will potentially like. So I think this is incredibly good.
Yes, exactly. You got it right. And then what you can do is you can, like, if the client, okay, let me not get ahead of myself. We're gonna create this. So I'm gonna head back to Magnific. I can close these now. Okay, this is just another Magnific tab. No need for it. And I'm gonna move to like an empty spot right here. And what I want to do is I want to start with an assistant that's gonna help me. So I'm not gonna replicate the exact UI screens that you just saw, but I'm gonna give you like an introduction to a concept that you have to think about and realize what the potential behind it is. So I'm gonna start with an assistant, and I'm gonna tell this assistant to give me five um, app industries, just write the name, nothing else. I'm gonna make sure that it exports as a list and press run. It's gonna give me a list of 5 names of apps that we can then create. This is good for like brainstorming. Maybe you're now an intern and you want to create a portfolio, but you don't really know what project to work on, so you need some inspiration. So this just gave us a list of 5 industries without us having to worry about a thing. It said healthcare, finance, education, e-commerce, entertainment. And then this list is gonna be connected to another assistant. So this list connects to another assistant. And in this assistant, I'm gonna tell him you will get a list of 5 app industries. I want you to act as an expert prompt engineer and UI UX art director. Give me image prompts that I will input in GPT-2 image generator. So this is just gonna be the model that I choose to, move on with for the rest of this session, just because GPT-2 is the best image model out there right now, but you can like say whatever right here. And I want this to generate 5 home screen for an app for each industry. I'm gonna tell it some more instructions. You have to customize the art direction based on the industry, because I don't want it giving me like the 5 industries or like the 5 screens for each industry looking the exact same thing. This doesn't make sense because an app for healthcare is not gonna look like an app for finance or education
Yeah.
or anything else. And finally, as we always do, I'm gonna tell it to follow this structure in your prompts as building blocks. And I want it to give me only the prompts, no extra text. Because I don't want it, babbling around like AI does, and you're like, yeah, I got you. I'm gonna create a list of 5. I don't want all that. I just want the prompts, short and direct. Now I want to give it the list that I follow as building blocks. You can copy it from our reference here. So this is the design. Uh, okay, I have to get outside of. How can I copy this? Okay, there is a way to copy it. I just have to grab it from somewhere else around here. Give me a second. But on your computer, you're gonna be able to just take those words and copy them. And what you can do is paste them here, like I just did. So these are basically the same words: a brief, a medium, an art direction, a composition, and then some breakdown of the composition. And we want to tell him to identify the typography and some breakdown of the typography, the color palette, the shape style, everything. And again, if you're confused what to write in each of those later, we're going to discuss this on our next session. The important thing right now is I want this assistant to give me 5 prompts for home screens, for apps, for each of those industries. And I'm gonna make sure that it exports as a list. I'm gonna hit run. It's gonna take some time and then eventually give us 5 prompts. This is exactly the same technique we used on our simple, silly toy animals example, but you can now see how advanced this can quickly get. And then while this is loading, I'm gonna start preparing the rest of my workflow because I already know I'm gonna get 5 prompts here. So I'm gonna need some machine to make them come to life as static images. So I'm gonna create an image generator and I'm gonna select GPT-2 as discussed. And the aspect ratio, these are all the settings that I just skipped in my presentation deck that you can go through.
Mhm.
So I'm selecting the aspect ratio. This is basic information, but for mobile apps, you need a 9 by 16. This resembles the mobile screen, and I want the quality to be high. Let's not have 4K, let's have like maybe 1K, just because it's gonna get faster. If you're working on an actual project, you want this to be like 2K or 4K, depending on the project. But right now, we just want something really quick. And we're gonna wait for a minute. It's processing. It's now 2 out of 5. And while we're here, can you notice this animated interactive loading screen? For all the UI UX designers out there, you need to put some things like this in your apps. Because imagine if this wasn't there and we just had to, stay and look at a blank screen, how boring it would be. So this is
Yeah,
basically here to prevent us from killing ourselves while we have to wait. You have to have this in your apps.
some sort of an indicator, just that we know there's an action happening in the background.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is very cool, man. And not regarding the video and ad aspect, what you just did is something that we've been trying to also teach to interns, like how can they start prompting to get a lot of the design systems built up from ground up, but just basically using these blocks and
Hmm.
configuring them properly, and they can get a lot of great results. Like, and it's not going to be AI slop where every page looks the same, but something that's more like a custom, because as you mentioned, industries are different. You cannot apply a single layout to all industries, so we have to be like very thorough with that. But yeah, it's actually a very good lesson, not just for the ads, but generally UX UI, like how we can use prompting to save ourselves a bunch of time and just like skip over the massive inspiration part.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be intentional with what you put in. You can just expect AI to make everything for you. And yeah, as I said, it's not just for ads or anything. You can create any type of visuals using the same concept. You just have to use the correct building blocks for the type of visual that you want. And actually, as a matter of fact, these building blocks, they can change. Like if you're watching a tutorial on YouTube or something, and they tell you that you have to start your design with something else, and instead of a medium, you just have to identify if it's a website or an app. Instead of art direction, you can type in like mood or vibe or whatever it says. Like if someone is using a different set of building blocks, that's fine. Everyone uses what works for them. This just happens to be what works for me, and it basically all leads to the same details. Like if you want to input like a certain amount of details, you can use these building blocks, or if you have like a different like structure or division of the prompt that you have in mind and you want to use yours, feel free to do this. I'm just giving you this as a reference if you don't know where to start. Now, right now, it gave us the 5 prompts. And if we open one of the prompts in full screen, we're gonna see that it's following our structure. It's giving us a brief. Okay, it's repeating the word brief, but whatever, it's following the structure and it's giving us. Oh, okay, it's giving us I think like five prompts inside each of those. So we might have to edit our assistant prompt or have it run again. I'm
I
gonna
think
have
that's
this one run again.
yeah.
Sorry.
I think the prompts are different from what I've seen. Some of them are for telehealth, some of them for some crypto stuff. So like it's just maybe a bit of they might be look similar in terms of the, but for the industries they're different.
I mean, I expected it to follow the structure like here. Like it gave
Okay.
me this one is correct, so it's brief, medium, art direction, composition, etc. But uh, I'm gonna just edit this prompt quickly,
Okay.
try to identify the mistake. And again, this is good exercise because you're gonna have some messed up prompts when you, I mean, I'm gonna run this just so people can see what's wrong with it because they might not get what I'm saying. I'm gonna let this run, and while it's running, I'm gonna quickly edit this and try to find where the mistake is. So I told him what to act like, and I told him to give me image prompts to generate 5 home screens. And I think what it understood is that each of those prompts should have inside them 5 extra prompts, and this is not what I wanted to. I'm gonna tell it to give me a list of 5 image prompts to generate just one home screen for each app in each industry. And I'm gonna tell it right here. Each one of
Just check the number. I think you put in two instead of one. You
did I?
typed two home screens. Yeah. Just
Oh
got
yeah,
it up. Yeah.
yeah. It's good that you code that because it was
Yeah,
gonna
yeah. It can
mess up.
happen. It's a very good exercise, man.
Yeah. So each one of your 5 prompts should follow this structure as building blocks. Give me only the prompts, no extra text. I hope that this works better. Right now it's giving us the messed up screens. How I imagine it, how I assume it's gonna give me is each image of those will have 5 screens, and that's not exactly what I was looking for. Except this one, it's gonna have one screen. I mean, I don't know. We're gonna AI is unexpected. You can't treat AI like it's math, like it's 1 + 1 = 2. You can do this. With AI, it's just trial and error. You just try something and it doesn't work. So you go back, edit your prompt, try again, and this time it works, and you just start editing until something works out. It's actually starting to generate, and it's not giving me what I expected it would.
Let's give it a check.
Okay.
I'm interested to see what did it come up, even though like we think like let's assume that the original prompt like direction were wrong, but still let's see did it manage to get something that's actually usable.
Okay, so I'm seeing some messed up things here and some good ones here. This one's messed up.
Mm-hmm.
This one's good. This one's exactly like the app I showed before. Okay, so this is
Ah,
what I
okay.
didn't want. I didn't want 5 screens for apps. I wanted like this. So this is basically one screen for the app. This is
Mm-hmm.
one screen for the app. This is messed up. This is messed up. Okay, just out of curiosity, I'm gonna cut the connection here. Okay, we're gonna take this on the side and work with it. But while we're working with it, I wanna see if my edit that I did for this assistant, I wanna see if it works. So I'm gonna make sure that what comes out of here as a list replaces this old messed up list and replaces it with the good prompts that we want. And I'm gonna make sure that that this is gonna generate whatever comes out here. Gonna run this, let it run for a while, and we're gonna come back in 5 minutes and see if this led to anything. While this is running, I want you guys to have this multitasking mentality with me because we're gonna do this a lot. Since AI takes time to generate, you're gonna have to find something to do in this free time, so to not waste your time. So while this is running, we're gonna put a pin on it and come here and focus on these ones. Now, what I want to do is I want to take one of the 2 screens that actually worked. Let's take this one, for example, because you already know what this one's gonna look like. So I'm gonna take this other one. I think this is for the educational application. And if we open it, you're gonna see the tabs down here, and there are some buttons that they can click uh, out here. And what I want to do is I want to take the screenshot and I want to connect it to an assistant because these assistants, they save a lot of time. By the way, fun fact, I mean, some of you might have noticed already, but this assistant is just basically an LLM node around here. So this is using Claude to process what I'm telling it. And if I open these models, I can like pick ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever I want. So this is just like Claude inside of Magnific. As we discussed, Magnific is just a platform, and you're using multiple models inside this platform to get your work done. So what I'm gonna say to this assistant is you'll get a screenshot from an app. I want you to act as an expert, basically what we said last time, but the last time we were trying to generate 5 home screens from 5 industries, and this time we want to generate 5 or 10 screens from the same app. So it's going to be similar but different. So I wanted to act as an expert prompt engineer and UI UX art director, and I want you to give me prompts that I'll input in GPT to image generator to generate. This is the part that's different. 10 other screens for the same app. I'm gonna tell it that you have to customize the copy and components and hierarchy. I never know how to write this word. This is a very hard word. I got it right. Well, that's no, I didn't get it right. Correct. And we're gonna have to customize these things based on each screen. I'm gonna instruct it to follow this structure in your prompts as a building blocks. Give me the 10 prompts only, no extra text. You're gonna notice I have some spelling mistakes here. I mean, this is Claude, so it's smart enough to work around my spelling mistakes. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the, sorry, I mean, on your own, you're gonna copy this, but I have it in another tab right here on my other screen. So I'm gonna paste the structure that I needed to follow. I gave it instructions. I told it what to expect to get from the input side, and I told it what I want from the output side. And I want this to come out as a list. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna take this screen and create 10 prompts for 10 screens that follow the same art direction that live inside this same app. However, we're going to use them to generate the other screens. And that means that I'm going to prepare my image generator right here, because whatever list comes out from this assistant node, I'm going to connect it to this image generator node, and I'm going to make sure my settings are right down here. This is medium quality instead of high. I mean, that's all right. I'm just going to wait for this to finish. What I should have done is I should have made it like 3 screens instead of 10, because now it's gonna take more time, but it's okay. While it generates, let's go back to the thing that we put on hold. Oh, it's still working. Okay, it gave me the list of 5 prompts. Let's check if they actually follow our structure. I think they still don't. I don't know. I mean, if I had more time, I would keep editing this until it gives me like correct lists. But it generated these lists, and then they automatically went inside the image generator, and then they're gonna come out this side.
Hey, don't worry about it. I mean, generally, this is just a very good example. People are going to do their prompts on their own, so they will explore, have fun, learn. And if it was working perfectly, like I think they would all just keep repeating the pattern that works. I also like to do some trials and errors, and then when you do that, you find out more things, and generally, you'll learn where you made a mistake and where not to go wrong next time. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
perfectly, it's perfect to see like how the real life settings apply when you're like doing your work as an art director.
yeah. I'm glad it actually messed up some things because this is what real life looks like. A lot of messing up from AI. I'm gonna just connect this as a list so this one works while we talk. And I'm actually gonna connect this image as well as a reference image. So so this machine is gonna get its instructions from here, but it's gonna get also a reference image so it understands what these instructions are talking about. And I'm gonna hit generate. Let's have this medium instead of high. No, let's keep it high. I mean, yeah. So a lot of messes up from AI. That's like a reality check for anyone out there thinking that AI just does the job for them and that it's easy and that you can just type in a bunch of uh, meaningless prompts and it's gonna work around it. That doesn't happen. What happens is you have to keep trying and pushing until you get one working workflow. And then what's cool about the working workflow is you can repeat it. So if I was working on a project, I would take my time to perfect this assistant node and find out why it's messing up and keep giving it instructions and being more detailed. I mean, I can't be super detailed right now on screen because it's going to take too much time, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I spend like an hour just writing a prompt for Claude to give it enough details that it understands what I exactly want. But we can see one of the screens came out all right, which is the medical industry
Mm-hmm.
thing. Let's export this one from the list. And what I was trying to say is if you get this right, if you perfect this prompt and it starts working correctly, what you can do is you can then change the 5 industries around here and just press run. You can select all of those and just press run. And what happens is the 5 industries come out as a list, and the list gets in this assistant, and the assistant gives you a list of 5 prompts, and the 5 prompts get generated, and the generations come out the other, and it all happens automatically. And we're gonna try this right here after this one finishes. So this one looks like it's coming out all right. These are the 10 prompts from this app generating screens for this app. We're gonna let it take its time, but while it's taking its time, I'm gonna show you what I mean by that. And what I mean is I can take this assistant node, I can take all of this actually, duplicate it, and just change a few things. So I have this workflow that works, but I know it's connected to the image up there, so I'm gonna cut this connection off. And I know this image generator as well has this image working as a reference, so I'm gonna cut this as well, and I'm gonna connect my new image, which is a new app, through the same assistant. I'm gonna tell this assistant to use my image right here as the app that we're creating, and I'm gonna tell this image generator to use this image as a reference. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that these prompts get replaced or maybe just delete them if I want, I mean, whatever. And I'm gonna just press generate again. I'm gonna make sure that this ones get replaced. I'm gonna press run from here and run from here instead of this node only means that this node is not gonna run on itself. It's gonna run,
Mhm.
and then it's gonna make the one following to it run, and the one following to it run, etc. So run from here, and then at this time we already know that this assistant node is working perfectly, and this whole workflow is making sense because we can see the other side, the screens are coming out all right, unlike our previous example. So we can just duplicate this 10 times and have 10 screens of each app or whatever. You can go on like FlyRank's website, take a screenshot and upload it here and ask ChatGPT to give you 10 extra screens. And this is a project that you worked on quickly to kind of get these quick screenshots of what the app can look like on other screens. If you're starting an app from scratch, this is incredibly useful and time saving because right now, look, it's it's giving us a screenshot from inside one lesson, psychology lesson, and even a screenshot from inside like one video inside the lesson and a test and notice again it's using the same name. It's
Mhm.
incredibly, not to mention it's using the same branding and the same everything, the same style for buttons, for icons, for like it's just a whole design system, and it's given us all these screens. Okay, these are the courses, and this is the community. It's even put some posts by other students. It gave them likes and comments and everything. It made this like members variable. It gave you a whole lot of detail with just a simple prompt. Now, people coming out in the AI era and they're just starting out in their career right now, they think that this is normal. This is not normal. We used to take weeks and maybe months designing these just few screens.
Yeah. I mean, like it can still happen if the client is very custom, like if he's not happy. But like, yeah, yeah, what you said is true. Like we used to take time just to gather these things and like explore what all the options can we have on the website, and every page was a page on its own, for example. So it's a very big step. Like at just like you see, one session can lead like teach you how to quickly get generate these things, and if it's like a client specific, you can just showcase this out, and clients is like, he likes it, he likes the inspiration, let's use then just keep exploring and building, and you save yourself so much time. And I think it's great, man. Like it's just a big jump.
Yeah, exactly. It's mainly good for drafts for the exploring part of the like pipeline because like back then you didn't have anything to show to the client prior to creating the thing, so you had to either like just talk to the client and try to convey your imagination to them, or you had to like draft some sketches like with hand that looked terrible, or you had to create just this one screen and try to explain to the client that it's gonna multiply and turn into all these 10, 20, 50 screens.
Yeah.
And you just have to do a lot of explaining. But right now, you can just, if you have this one screen designed and you have your design system thought out, you have your branding thought out, you have your logo, you have your everything, you can just design this one screen and then quickly get 10 multiplications of it out the other side and then send those to the client, just explaining that this is a draft and that we're going to take our time to perfect each screen. And generally speaking, AI is not at its peak right now. It's still just giving us some images, but to build a real application, you need more than images. You need vector files coming out of Figma or whatever platform you're using. I mean, you know this stuff better than me. I don't build apps or websites this frequent, but you can't just like have a bunch of screenshots and call it an app. So this is more for the exploration.
Yeah, no, what
Or
you did here is great. I mean, like you don't have to like. I mean, you're not a like on your profession. You're not a UX UI designer, but what you did here is something that all the new UX UI designers want to be like. Basically, learning how to prompt and I mean, this is such a great lesson that it's like it's not just about the ads. It's like how you can use like just this AI tool nowadays and learn how to quickly gather what you want and save yourself a bunch of time because I said sometime at the beginning of this internship, it's not about like how much work you do. It's about how effective you are. Like if you manage to nail down a task in half an hour, and you save yourself like days of work because as you said before, this wasn't available. You had to go
exactly,
manually. You had to go use resources. You had to check out libraries. Um, okay, UX terms, there are some clashes. You had to verify and check the screens if it's working. It needs to have like a flow, but as an inspiration, as you said, for the client, you can showcase this where okay, so here's the screens. We're going to manually fix each of these, but this is like the goal, this is the inspiration, and then just like shuffle them around and see maybe he doesn't like this visual style, you want this one, you more something old school, something minimalistic, and you can just create this in a matter of seconds, which is incredible, man.
yeah, exactly. And it's given us really good screens as well. I mean, these genuinely follow some design principles in terms of contrast and hierarchy and
Mm-hmm.
everything. So it's not just giving us some slop. I mean, they can be better, all of them, but at the end of the day, they are usable. So so just think about how you can use this. Okay, I created 5 apps from 5 industries, and then I created 10 screens from 2 apps, and then you can create like maybe you like this screen or maybe you like this art direction, and then what you want to do is you want to create like variations of this screen. So you want to see how different hierarchy works. What if we remove the woman illustration and put a man, a kid, an animal, whatever. So you can work with this concept of lists and assistants that help you turn those lists into prompts, and then these prompts they get generated as a list as well, as a list of images. So what you can do is explore and explore and explore. Maybe this is instead of 1 minute, I want to see what it looks like if it's more. Maybe I want to see a different illustration, a different copy. Maybe you tell the AI to try like 10 different copies in 10 different tone of voice. You can explore endlessly here. And as you said, I'm not a UI UX expert. I'm also not an expert in creating toy animals, but it's just the concept. I just understand the concept of how AI works, and I can use it to my advantage in anything. It can even be a personal project. I just designed a whole bunch of furniture for my home using the
Yeah.
same techniques right here. So you can do anything with this.
Yeah,
And
that's
then, sorry, go ahead.
no. I just want to say that that's awesome. Like how you can use it for your own private things, not just work. Basically, you can apply it
Yeah,
anywhere.
yeah, you can maybe like mock some of your friends, make fun of them, input their pictures and create other funny stuff out of it. So yeah, the like sky's the limit. Okay, we're done with this, and if you when you receive this presentation, these are all hyperlinks, so you can like if you get stuck somewhere and you want to remember how we did it, you can just press this button to check the workflow, and this is the workflow that I used to do this application that I showed earlier. So you can just come around here, see what input I put here, and maybe like copy it or edit it or whatever. This is just like if you wanna explore. Oh, I actually did this as well. This is another application, and you see you just you can get like instead of 5 apps, I can like get 20, 50 apps. Just be
Hmm.
conscious because these use credits. So this image generation, it uses 650 credits. Credits are like basically the currency in this app, and like the more screens I get out, the more credits I consume. I mean, for me, I have 2 million credits available because I'm a professional at this and I can waste as much credits as I want because I use this for work. and
Yeah.
should cover me the whole year. But if you're just starting out and you have a subscription that is giving you like limited amount of credits, you just have to be conscious on how you waste them. So
Sorry to interrupt. We have 15 more minutes of screen time, so we can push something else if you think we're gonna make it in time. This
yeah.
you explore was actually great. I loved it. Do you think we will be able to wrap up the Rolex one as well, or it will take more than 15 minutes?
No, I'm gonna wrap it up real quick. I'm
Okay.
not gonna go into much details. So this is the Rolex commercial. Again, you can check the original workflow from here. This is the one we're gonna create. I wish you can. Oh, I don't have access to my own. Okay, I'm gonna make sure that you guys have access to this. But actually, I might take the time to give myself access just because I want you to see what the final result looks like, or maybe I can show it on my computer. Let me do that easier. Um, and I was saying that I wish you can hear the audio on this ad.
Yeah. Wow. That is something like. And I
Yeah,
bet
I mean,
people would ask, sorry, people would ask like, how much budget did it take you to create that? You know, and you're like, I was
exactly.
sitting at home, man. I'm just like, you know.
Yeah, and more importantly, I can create things that aren't like I never owned this Rolex watch, so I don't have the actual watch to shoot. It's gonna take a lot of budget just to buy the watch. So
Yeah.
you can create ads for whatever you want, man. If you're targeting some like specific brand, if you want to work for Apple, for example, you can download just a bunch of Apple products and then create ads for them and use this as a portfolio. So
Yeah.
again, it gives you this is the workflow that I used.
Oh,
I
nice.
put some sticky notes out here for you guys to understand what each of those are. And we're not gonna, I mean, we're gonna try to replicate it now, but we're gonna do it quickly. I'm not gonna go into much details to be able to wrap up. So I'm gonna start with a text node this time instead of an assistant. And I wanna create images. And the concept is this is gonna be like a more cinematic look like you saw. So it's this aspect ratio. I'm gonna connect this building blocks inside here and use obviously the same building blocks that we have to build an image. And I have the prompts ready on my other screen. I'm just gonna paste them. I mean, if you're on your own, or if we had more time, I would have loved to like write them in details and say some notes while I'm writing them. But just to make this quick, I'm just gonna copy paste,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna have access to all the prompts anyways, so you can reverse engineer them. You can open this space and zoom in on each one of those uh, prompts and try to reverse engineer what I had wrote in each one. And of course, you can like hit me up with questions on LinkedIn or anything if you get confused at any time. Just gonna unplug this. So I'm just trying to explain the concept here, and the concept is in videos we start from images like we did with the toy factory, and then we turn those into videos. So what I did is I put the prompt and I asked the image generator to give me three options of this prompt just to save time. Again, I have millions of credits to burn. You should be more conscious when using this. You should maybe try one image, and if it didn't work out, try it again after editing and stuff. But I want to get something usable quickly, so I got these two, and this one's still loading. And I'm gonna pick one of them, whatever one we like best. I'm gonna pick this one. I think this one has more contrast and it's more saturated, and I just like the feeling of it. I'm gonna delete those other ones, and I'm gonna use this one. And how I wanna use this one is I wanna connect it to a video generator that animates this image. And this video generator has to have some text, some prompt, some building blocks to work. And I don't want people to get confused. This is not an assistant. This is text that I write myself. So I'm gonna have to um, copy my prompt. Or actually, you know what? I'm not gonna copy anything. It's just camera movement. I want it to slowly push in for the action on camera. I don't want anything. Maybe I'm gonna say some sand. Maybe I'm gonna say the dials are moving. So I have the sorry the hands are moving. So I have some action happening on the clock. And for the audio, I want uh, beach, ambient sound, waves, sound effects, but I want no music, and this is important. And why it's important, because we're gonna add background music later. I know you guys didn't hear a thing from the ad I just created. You're gonna have to check it out after the session.
Yeah.
But we usually add audio like music, background music later in the process, in the post production. I'm gonna connect this, and I'm gonna make sure I use. I mean, these settings are not good enough, but I'm gonna go with them just to get something out quickly. If I had more time to do this, I would pick a better video generator. One of the recommended here. We used Grok this time. Grok isn't the best. I just put it here because it's free for the
Mm-hmm.
guys who want to explore without paying much at the beginning. But if you're taking this professionally, you should use one of those two in the beginning. And then we're gonna get a shot for this watch with the camera pushing in on it. And what we can do is we can duplicate this whole workflow 5 times and change the prompt each time. I'm just gonna change the image prompts. I'm not gonna generate that much, that many videos because we don't have time for videos, but I want you to see how the images would look. I'm actually gonna just stick to 3 images, not gonna generate all of them. Oh, you know what? There was something that would have made this easier, and that's attaching a reference image. Sorry, not that one. That's attaching a reference image for the watch. I should have done that, but I forgot. Again, errors happen. You have to, like, if this watch didn't come out correct, it came out exactly the same without a reference image, just because I described it here incredibly detailed. You see in
Mm-hmm.
the subject, that's the subject, and that's describing even the markers and the text written on the text on the watch, and like how the logo looks and everything. So that's a good example of how, if your prompt is super detailed, AI gets it good the first time, but adding a reference image would definitely have been helpful. This is our third shot, second shot coming out here. I'm gonna delete these two so it's not confusing. And this is the video that came out.
Wow. Yeah, that is some result, man.
Yes, it's actually not the best quality. The text right here is messed up and everything. That's
Yeah.
because we use Grok. But if you use the better model, it should come out good.
Yeah,
Now
you
this
won't
is,
have any issues. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Just like that.
this is gonna be our. Actually, this is like the image was alright. The text here, nice. It's still messed up a bit, but we didn't put like it's just 1K. If we added 4K and made this high,
Mm-hmm.
it would have came out better. This is our second starting frame, third starting frame. This one's incredible, very cinematic. And then we can animate this and animate this. We can create like 10 shots, 20 shots for the watch, and then we use all these shots, we just download them and edit them together in post production. You can use like Canva or whatever editing software that you think works good for you. You can use CapCut if you're used to it or whatever. I use Premiere Pro because I'm used to it. But post production isn't our topic for today.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to learn how to generate these. And then eventually we're gonna generate voiceover that says something like Rolex this summer's classic or whatever. And we pick a voice that is deep, like a male voice, and I want it to be British just because it's more luxurious accent than American. I want it to be English. I'm gonna hear all these voices and pick the one that I think fits the brand, and then we're gonna have a voiceover coming out this way. Add it to the post production, and then you can search for music on Magnific. These are just stock music. You can uh, filter by genre and mood and everything, and you can download one that you think works, or you can generate your own music from the music generator over here. So what I'm trying to say is you have all these generators and you use them all the same way, detailed input using the building blocks, and output that you can use when you collect all of this together in the post-production period. And that was the
I'm gonna say
Rolex
wow.
example. Yeah. Now, I was gonna summarize, but I think I repeated myself multiple times now. And basically, what we discussed is the idea of connecting generators together and then inputting the prompt as a structured building blocks that describe the thing that we want in details. And we understood the difference between models and platforms on where you can use these models. And I just use Magnific because I prefer it. Magnific is, by the way, was formerly known as FreePick. I think some of the folks here already know FreePick. So I'm just
Yep.
used to it. I've been using it for years now. You can use whatever tool you think is best. I think it's worth the subscription if you're gonna take this professionally. And you have an assignment before our next session. Next session, we're going to talk about creative direction, understanding branding and marketing, and using LLMs to make this workflow better and more efficient. And until then, you have an assignment basically to recreate one of the things that we created. You just have to pick a brand. It can be like an imaginary brand or something that you like, something that you use. For example, I like G-Shock. I can make a product ad for this. If you have an application that you use, you can create a UI UX flow that looks like it, whatever. Just pick a brand and pick one task and then create like this visuals for this brand using the same techniques that we use today. Finally, some resources uh, in case you're interested to learn more about any of the things that we discussed. So this is just a YouTube channel for you to learn more about like um, cinematic video creation using AI. This is from Magnific. Both of these are from Magnific's YouTube channel. This teaches you about node-based workflows, which is the workflow we've been using. This is called node-based. And just to explain what node-based means, I can come out here and pick the image generator from here. I'm gonna have access to the same things. I can type Rolex watch and generate, and I'm gonna have my image right here. The only difference is I'm not getting it inside the flow, so I can't really connect this image generator to another video generator, and it takes more time, but it's doable. Maybe you want something quick. However, I chose to discuss node-based workflows today because I think it saves so much time and it has a lot of usage. Actually, you know what? I can let this run for a while. But what I was gonna say, okay, this is just an image that we get from out here. What I wanted to say is, I want to find the space. I can take this link and then go to Claude and tell Claude to access my magnific space. Give it the link, tell it, I have a Rolex ad there. Please change the first shot to be in the forest instead of the beach. And I'm gonna have Claude access my magnific and change everything that's happening here on its own. So we're gonna come back to this later. Again, multitasking. These are the other resources. So this is a resource to learn more about node-based workflows. This is to learn about Magnific in general. If you want to subscribe, use this link. It's an affiliate link. It's going to give you a discount. And please, please, please hit me up on LinkedIn if you have any questions or anything that you want to discuss or just to connect. I would love to get in touch with all of you. And that is all. We're just going to have Claude working in the background here while we wrap up our session. Can you see this cursor? This pink cursor? I mean, my hands are here. My hands. I'm not doing anything. Imagine
Yeah.
Claude is right now, changing the prompt, and it's gonna generate a new image, and I can ask it to like change the whole workflow if I want. It didn't generate. I'm gonna yes run it.
Yeah, that's next level automation.
Yeah, and what I was trying to say is we can basically build the flow once and then we can keep run it again and again using Claude. And just like that, it's running the whole flow. It's gonna give us an image and a video to use, and we can duplicate and multiply this ad that we created for multiple products or anything that easily. And that's it. That's our session for today.
Wow, Ayat, thank you. Like one big thank you for joining us on this like FlyRank internship and for sharing so many valuable resources out there and just this whole workflow and the process. I think it's incredibly great and good, and I'm very happy to be part of this one as well. Because I myself learned like a lot of today because it's always nice to see the other branch, like from the motion, how you can connect that with like specifically UX UI, how you can use the tools there for UX and UI. And generally for all those interns out there who are interested in motion, because we specifically did not mention motion, but we love to include all those things in the like design branch. This is going to be more than helpful to kickstart off their journey. And yeah, and big shout to Eyad. Make sure you visit his channel as well, and ask him for any questions, any resources, links you guys want to explore. I think he's doing a magnificent job. Like, and he's using the magnific, but still a magnificent job. And yeah, very happy to actually be here, and for all of you guys as well. I hope you enjoyed. We'll be meeting again, Ayad, right? On the 19th of August. We will note that in the calendar. So you can give us a quick glance. What's the next session going to be about? So we can close it off.
I think I already mentioned that it's gonna be about like basically the understanding of creative direction and how to pick the right details for your prompt and how to come up with something that's on brand. It speaks to your target audience. It actually communicates your message effectively instead of just things that look aesthetic, but they don't really work that well when your target audience sees. And that's it.
Awesome, man. Hey, one more time, thank you. I hope you enjoyed it as well. I hope it didn't take too much of your time. And
no, man, glad to help.
No, this was perfect, honestly. And yeah, to everybody out there, you can find the video on our channel, and you can also find Ayad's channel, so you guys can give him also a big shout and big thank you to him in the comments. So we'll be seeing each other again, Ayad, and have a great rest of the day. And thank you one more time. Hope to see you soon. And I will share all the resources and all the info right after the stream, so you guys can access it via portal. So take care, man, and have a great rest of the day.
Sounds great. Have a good one.
See you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.